Hi everyone, I'm Bishop Orley. Welcome to Cyber Witch, my channel about the occult, demonology, and my life as a professional witch here in New Orleans. I am recording this on the night of the 4th of July, so if you hear fireworks or gunshots, that's totally normal and don't worry about it. Today we're going to talk about how to get really good at doing rituals to change your life by developing your psychic awareness. What we are going to discuss today involves both what you'll do during rituals as well as outside of your rituals. And that's something that's really important to think about because very often we are really focusing all of our effort on that active interaction with spirit, with preternatural intelligences, like when we're really trying to contact them. And we're not focusing on all the other times and paying attention to those things, because those times are the times when stuff is really going to start happening for you. And that's really important to think about, because us as people of the earth are going through a really greater psychic and spiritual awakening at this time. And it's actually a really exciting time for us to be alive. So we can really tap into this by focusing on raising our energy to be able to perceive all of these things. And a really beautiful way of doing that, of course, is through our spells and our rituals, but also on our day-to-day interactions with the universe, with life itself around us, with us and the interior of our own minds, our own mental landscapes. And so I'm going to help you today on how to get really good at doing rituals, at doing spells, and at just general witchcraft power per se, by developing your psychic awareness, which helps literally everything that you do. And it also helps you to live a better life because you're not going to be ignorant to things that are going on around you. Your senses will be awakened and you can learn more. So it's really awesome. And so one of the things that is important to first consider, like I just said, don't just focus on what's going on during your spells and rituals. So allow yourself to really be open to paying attention to what goes on through your whole day and through your life, because the spirits will communicate with us through ordinary reality far more than in something that is being forced, especially when it comes to the results and seeing what to do next. Because a huge aspect of doing rituals is, well, they'll make something happen, but then we need to figure out, like, what do I do next after that? What do I do to make sure that I'm going along with what the spirits are doing for me that I really want to have happen? You know, like, it's great to have results happen, but sometimes our results could happen and maybe we're not doing the right thing to be able to actually have that stick with us. Or we might even lose that opportunity because we didn't know what to do and how to handle it, because you were just focusing on having the result and then not what to do to move forward. And this is where developing your psychic awareness becomes really important, because the spirits that you're working with will actually help you and show you what to do and how to go along the path that will result in further going along with the path of your will, what you want to have happen, and your greater goals in life. So one next point on how to master this is learning how to feel different energies around you and to decipher what energy is you and what is something else. And this can be very challenging because it can manifest in so many different ways. So to give a personal example, I kept having this thing happen where when I would get really excited over the past couple of months, it would start turning my electronics on that were off, that were around me. And I didn't realize it was from me getting excited. I thought that it was like some kind of spirit trying to communicate to me through turning the TV on, because it would happen at these very strange times. But then I noticed it was actually my energy that was making that happen. And so it's really important for us to pay attention to like, what was the entire circumstance of that? Not just jumping to the conclusion that it's something that's outside of you, because we have incredible power within each and every one of us that we can activate and develop once you start allowing yourself to be open to these frequencies. And one thing that's really important too, to allow yourself to actually decipher this stuff, is getting out of the mess that comes from all the chaos, all those archonic forces in the world that are literally plaguing every single person at this time. And so this is something that I deal with on the reg, because what I do for my job is I counsel people in their different spiritual situations or in their life as a psychic. If you do want personal help from me, you can book a time on my website. That's linked in the description of this video. My website's motherofabominations.com. And with that, one of the things that I always tell people is about this, because a lot of the times we'll think like it's us, that we're doing something, that we have like bad thoughts in us, that we have these things pulling us in different directions that are making us sad, making us angry, making us feel scared or confused, tired, malaise, lazy, furious, trying to create conflicts, trying to make us really, really low in energy. And this is happening to everyone all the time. And it is forces that are outside of us. But we get confused and think that they are us. And then it really, really will mess with your mind. And the more spiritual work that you do, the more sensitive you will be to noticing and feeling these energies affecting you. And that's because they have noticed you. So that's going to happen more. Like the more you are making yourself spiritually powerful, these archonic forces will come to you to try to drag you down. So it's really important to try to stay as healthy as possible and to have a spiritual routine that you do on a regular basis to try to elevate your energy and do everything you can to try to have your energy as high up as possible, being happy, helping people, doing things in the world that make you feel fulfilled, all that stuff that makes you feel good and like makes your heart sing. Do that kind of stuff to keep your energy up, and that will make it stronger and also harder for it to get pushed away, because this is exactly what I'm talking about, learning to feel the different energies. So if you can tell that those energies are affecting you, it's not going to make you like truly actually sad, because you're like, oh, this is coming from outside of me. If I don't have a legitimate reason to feel sad or to feel angry, and it's just affecting you, especially if you're doing a lot of really intense spiritual work, that's what's happening to you. So it's important to realize like what is coming from me in my life and what is coming from outside forces that are trying to drag me down and drain my energy, because I have developed my power and I can help the world by affecting the world of energy through what I do in my subjective reality. And so it's really important just to be aware of that. And what I do personally is I try to maintain as much control over the landscape of my mind. And so there's a lot of ways that we can develop this. But a huge aspect of it is truly knowing yourself and truly knowing your mind. So by knowing who I am, by knowing my own mind, my internal mind's landscape, I can tell like when something else has come in, it feels different to me. And this can happen in any place and any time. Obviously, like if you're in some place where maybe it's really haunted or something really bad happened there, or there's like a lot of dark energy, you could have more of those things start affecting you. That's totally possible, like depending on the place. Or of course, if you're around other people, you could even be like picking up their stray thoughts and energy just from going around them, because everyone has this energy coming off them too from what we are emitting into the world. So you could be feeling that and thinking it's yourself because you're actually able to sense other people's energy and then feeling like it's your own. But you can also sense this if it's just like these archonic forces that come and plague upon people. And this is causing a huge amount of chaos in the world, causing people to fight one another when we really have so many things that are similar and help to like actually cause change in the world. Instead, we're just like fighting one another, feeling sick and lazy and tired, and just wasting our lives away instead of actually seeing the truth of what's going on. So this is also why having this big change in our spiritual development and overall awakening that we can access by maintaining, keeping our energies high is going to be so helpful to us as we go forward in time. So when you are working on feeling the different energies around you and getting to know your own mind and your own energies, a good way to do this is just to start just paying attention to how your head feels like during the day when you feel normal, and like what that feels like. I find that I use the phrase feeling a lot lately because I think that's the best way of describing how our energy is understood in the way that is like totally non-visual, because it can take on so many different forms when we're talking about psychic awareness, because psychic awareness could be found in so many different ways. Some people will have like visions of things. Some people could have a feeling. So for me, what I personally find is I feel messages and I can see things sometimes, but when it's something else, it just has a different vibe to it energetically. And if you do work constantly to keep your own energy up, you'll really start knowing and feeling yourself. And you can do this by doing things like yoga, where you're really focusing on your energy and how that energy is like flowing through your body. You can do that by dancing and raising your energy up. You could even meditate and then feel like what your mind feels like, and then versus doing something like calling a spirit in a ritual. And now we're going to talk about like doing the rituals. When we call the spirit in or do an invocation or something like that, or a mantra, you will feel different. And you'll only notice that you're feeling different if you've gone to know your own self and your own energy. And that's the thing that a lot of people are missing out on. And that will make a huge difference, because something that I help people with all the time is I'll go through their spiritual practice and they're not getting the connection that they want to the spirits. And so a big part of it is actually being able to feel and sense the spirit's energy. And this will require work. Like, this stuff isn't easy. We all have spiritual abilities that we can develop, and it takes time and it takes practice. And it's something that if it's meant for you, then you will enjoy it. And so a main issue is that people, they can't tell the difference between forces that are interfering and then their own self. And so that can be really confusing especially when, even in the ritual setting, let's say you've called in a demon and you can't tell the difference between the energy of the spirit and your own self, you might never think the spirit came to you, because being able to actually see a demon is a skill that you have to learn by developing your psychic vision and practicing your visualization exercises and all these kind of things. And it's something that totally can be done, and it takes time. But a huge aspect of this stuff too is the idea of it outside of the ritual, where when we're not forcing things to happen, that is when things usually happen the easiest. So our mind is just open and submissive to the spirits to come through and show us what they want us to see, without any interference from us or from us trying to do things. And that's something that I think can be really beneficial for people to try to open themselves up to, because overall we do have freedom of choice in the spells and the things that we do. But of course we are dealing with things like overall fate. So these things work together in tandem, where in the greater scheme of things, you know, it's like your destiny to do the spells and the things that you're doing, the stuff that you want to do. That is your destiny to do. You're being called to do it. You know you have a purpose in this world to cause change, and we can cause change by developing ourselves spiritually, because then we will affect the overall energy of everything around us. And it's really, really amazing. So you want to think about how you are altering your energetic space in general to create an ambiance for the spiritual energy that you want to manifest. And so I think my apartment is a good example of this, where I was really going for like a vampire castle. So I made a lot of art to fit that aesthetic, and that's kind of like the energy that I like to have around me. It's very like central energy, very spacey. And so that is the energy that I've basically like curated around me. And I do a lot of work with the death current. So there's a lot of imagery that reflects that, you know, various emblems of death, skulls, pictures, and different sculptures that I made that have the energy that I want to feel in my home that makes me feel comfortable. And when I feel comfortable, I will be better at my spiritual navigation, because I'm not stressed or distracted by anything. And that is really important to think about. So altering your energetic space in general to create an ambiance for the energy that you want. So what do I mean specifically by that? The place that you are going to be, especially during your ritual. Like if it's some place where looking at stuff causes mental problems to you, then either cover it up or do it with your eyes closed, or do it somewhere else, because all of that is going to affect you. That's the reason why in like Western ceremonial magic in particular, they have a lot of imagery of like, there's like all the different colors and the symbolism, and all of that is to make your mind focus on a specific planet or whatever it is that you're doing. But you can apply this to your general life and space to make the space all around you reflect the energy of what you want to have manifest in your spells. So making sure also that you don't have a bunch of filth and clutter, because that's going to create that kind of energy that will also affect your spells. So it's not just like your ritual space, because not everyone has a place to do rituals in. Most people don't. And so it's important to just try to have as much control over how the space is around you, just through your life in general. And that will make your rituals better, because your energy is going to be like the energy of what you're trying to manifest. And this also goes to your lifestyle as well. So when it comes to your lifestyle, this has to do with the things that you do every day. Do you wake up in the morning and get a good start on the day and get things done? Or do you sleep most of the day and are just lazy all the time if you don't have a reason to be sleeping? Like if you are just doing that because you don't feel like doing anything else and there's nothing stopping you. That is creating energy around you in how your spells are. So like if you do a spell to be successful and you're living like that and creating that energy, do you think that that is creating what you want to be possible? Because your subjective reality is going to be influenced by the energy you consciously put forward into what you're doing. And that can be found in so many ways, like the places that you go, the people that you are around. And it's like that whole saying where they talk about being around people that you want to be like and how that affects you. That is very true with your manifestation of magic, because the spirits are going to just keep reflecting what you have around you, because that is also what you are choosing to do, unless you have no choice. And then in that case, the thing to do would be to try to get out of that situation. It's also super helpful and important to do rituals that are going to give what you're doing enough sustenance to be able to manifest what you want, instead of doing some little thing that you found and putting a lot of pressure on yourself or doing things that are just not working at all. So if you would like to learn the methods that I've put together that do work, that I have been teaching people, I have different video courses on my website. There's one to learn how to summon demons. There's also one that teaches you my methods on how to conjure the spirit companions, the incubus and succubus spirits, using my methods. And then there's also one that teaches you how to develop your psychic abilities through using the tarot with any deck. That's my tarot magic video course. And I think that one is really fun because it's a tarot course that I made specifically for witches. So it teaches you how to read with all the cards, but then also how to develop your psychic awareness, how to work with the cards and different rituals to conjure spirits as well. And so all that stuff is linked on my website. So if you do like my channel and you want to help support it, a really great way to support my work is with these advanced video courses that are on my site that teach you really in-depth professional classes on witchcraft and magic and developing your psychic abilities. So all that stuff is linked in the description of this video. And thank you so much to everyone who has been a student of the classes already. Y'all are really awesome. Thank you for your support. So now we're going to get into the final aspect of today's talk, which is what to do to help you know what to do. Like after your ritual is done, what do you do? And this is something that I think is really not talked about very much and is so critical, because you're going to need to look for synchronicities. So what do I mean by synchronicity? Well, first off, this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the video, where the spirits will communicate with us through ordinary reality. So what does that mean? It means that through your regular life, stuff is going to happen that's going to be significant and stick out to you. Sometimes it will be like a literal synchronicity where something is the same as something else. So like you're doing something that's all about a spiritual system, reading a lot about some kind of thing, and then all of a sudden your friend starts talking to you about it, or you see it somewhere else, or something is like almost the same as that in a very random thing. This is the universe responding to you and giving you a direction of where to go. Now this, of course, is confusing. So like often it will be related to how to make decisions on where the spirits are guiding you next. So for example, if you see the synchronicity and it's related to a book or something like that, we'll read that book. Or if the synchronicity is in a song, maybe check out the other songs that that band did. And maybe there's something else in there for you to discover, because this is how reality and life will communicate spiritual messages to you. It's going to be through these little details that are placed in your ordinary reality that just seem like a normal thing that's happened, but is literally placed there by the conscious living universe, a very strange reality made up of multiple layers of dimensions happening simultaneously. So things can happen that are literally the universe communicating back to you. So something that happens to people all the time, seeing those numbers, people see like 1111 or like 333, and people call them like angel numbers or whatever. With this, what's really important to think about, it's really not that important to think about the number. What you're going to want to think about is, what were you thinking about, or what was happening, or what were you saying, or what were you looking at when this happened? What was just happening before you see that number? And that can be hard to do. So try to practice, because especially when people are having this phenomenon happen a lot, the spirits are trying to get you to pay attention to something. And it's not about some deep meaning in a number that you can go down some rabbit hole in. It's trying to get you to pay attention to reality, because the reality is trying to guide you into something else. So for example, this is a really great one to think about with these numbers. Let's say you're thinking about opening a new business and you've been doing magic to help improve yourself in your life. And then you have an idea about opening a new business. And then you look at your stove and it says 1111. So that would be a perfect example of how a synchronicity, even though it's not like literally the same thing, but it is, something is syncing in reality to the thing you're thinking about and giving you a pathway. And it can be very difficult to notice, but all you have to do is just be open to noticing things and not be so caught up in your phone or caught up in your mind and worrying about things, or caught up in your anger or stress or fear or sadness, and open your mind to noticing all these amazing things that literally will show you that the universe is conscious and can respond to you in the things that you do by having these synchronicities pop up that are related to what you're trying to accomplish, that you're asking the spirits to help you with, to help you and guide your way. I hope that helped you on how to get better at doing rituals and to develop and nurture your psychic awareness to help your witchcraft journey. Please subscribe if you are new. And thank you so much to all of my patrons and my channel members. Please give my channel a like as well for a little kiss to the algorithm. And I'll see you next time. Bye.